luckily this morning we have Margaret from the SRC. Tell us, what is Southern Regional College and what are you in to talk to us today about apprenticeships?
Okay, well, next week, or beginning tomorrow, the 2nd, is Northern Ireland Apprenticeship Week. Okay, and in the Southern Regional College, we have two big kind of anchor events called the Big Apprenticeship Events, where Tuesday's Craigavon and Thursday's in Newry and Patrick Street, and we welcome applicants and parents to come in and speak to prospective employers and speak to faculty and learn all about making an application, what is an apprenticeship, the levels of apprenticeships, level 2, level 3, and then higher level apprenticeships as well.
Wonderful. So for those who are sort of considering a second career or a career that's maybe outside of the traditional educational purposes of going to uni, what apprenticeships would benefit them, or what sort of path would you offer?
Well, I'll tell you, an apprenticeship, it's a really traditional apprenticeship model, but if you don't know what that is, it's 4 days working and 1 day in college. So it takes you a wee bit longer to get your qualification, but you end up with your qualification. You've been working that whole time. You've got no debt. Your student debts are covered. Your tuition fees are covered by the Department for the Economy. That's for higher level apprenticeships. So you end up with a prospective BA honours degree. You've been working for about 5 years. You've got all that experience. And the areas might be accountancy, because I know we have Ross here this morning to talk about as an employer, mechatronics, technical design,
the traditional trades as well?
They're level 2, level 3, so all those kind of what people might term as wet trades, okay, they're all there as well. So your plumbing, your spark, your electrical installation.
Well, it's funny because we're talking there to Ross, but there's a few boys working for my dad at the weekends and in the yard, and for years they have been, and they've all gone through the apprentice, where 3 days, 4 days a week they're in the SRC. They do 1 or 2 days with the actual electrician, as these guys were. They work at the weekends, but as you say, over the years you watch them develop to now where 2 of them are professionals who are now coming back to fit lights in the yard because they're fully qualified electricians, earning fantastic wages, but they've gone through it. But they have the whole way gathered experience. They've got connections within the trades that they're being involved in. So it's a great way to build a career and to build paths and to make connections.
And I think as well, they have to kind of realise that they've got a job, they're an employee who is an apprentice. You can't be an apprentice without a job.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're coming in, and even, when they're leaving school, you would hear people talking about, and get a placement. And I always say, it's not a placement.
No.
It's a job. You're going into work.
Oh, totally. It's a 9 to 5, roll your sleeves up, get involved, get in and get digged in. So, Ross, you have joined us this morning from PMK.
Yep.
I'm a bit frightened about accountancy, but every now and again I get a letter from the taxman and he's always unhappy with me. But tell us a little bit about PMK and your involvement with SRC.
Okay, so I've been working with PMK for 10 years now. I went to university and went down that route, but when I came out of university I didn't have a clue what I was doing, to be honest. With the apprentices, you take them in on day one and they're learning straight away. Like, I'm working 10 years now and I'm still paying off my student loan, the fact that you have no debt coming in as an apprentice is much better, to be honest. Of
course.
And you're learning right from the start.
It's a great stepping stone now.
Yeah.
It's great, a boost up. And how many apprentices would you run with?
We would generally take on maybe 1 or 2 every year. Like, we still have, there's a guy in our office done the apprenticeship and he's finished it now 5 years, and he's actually one of the team leaders in PMK, so there is a good stepping stone that people can
remain within the company
at the bottom.
They've been working with, and you build up that rapport and that.
And there's good trust with them too, especially in PMK, we sort of fire them in.
It's interesting because I see there that the SRC is an investor in people, but it's a big investment for you guys to train someone up.
Yeah,
but then it repays it when they continue to work for you 5 years, 6 years later.
So that's what you're hoping, when you take on an apprentice, that they're going to stay with you for as long as possible, really, because you've invested the time in them, you've brought them up, you've generally seen them grow as people and as an employee as well, and
do they then take part in the training of the next round?
Yeah. So they're probably the best ones to take the next ones on, so we take on roughly 1 or 2 every year. We're small enough practice in Camla, you don't have to be the multinational to actually take on an apprentice, and it can be hard to get good local talent as well. You know, ones coming out of university generally will want to go to the big companies, you know. So for a business like us in Camla, it is a good course.
So it's more sort of grassroots where, you know, they spend their day or two at the beginning, a couple of days in SRC, and then they go out for use for experience, and then that ratio flips, and then it's more that they'll stay in the area and stay.
Yeah, so with the HLA, they do their 1 day in the SRC, so that's their big day as such, and then the other 4 days they're in actually learning on the job, you know. Like when I came out of university, you're technically starting from the start. Like, you don't know how to do a set of accounts when you come out of university. Yeah, generally you'll have the knowledge of the technical knowledge, but in terms of actually being able to...
And you have that student debt, and you have that carry, and you've got the sort of scramble...
Don't remind me.
where you're competing with 100, 200,
exactly.
300 applicants, all with the same degree or different levels. Keelan, you've been through this process. Give us a bit of your story, if that's not too daunting a question to throw at you this time on a Sunday morning.
100%.
So, how did you start? What was your apprenticeship? And
yes, I actually went both routes. I did the university route initially, and when I came out of university, it was sort of this, you know, I was lost for direction. I didn't know really where to go because there's no follow-on. It's just the traditional, you know, find a job anywhere you can. And I sort of thought that wasn't what I wanted for my life. So I went back to the SRC, got a placement in Pronto Engineering, a phenomenal company. And, you know, it's the best decision I've ever made, to be honest with you, because I'm learning both on the job and in work, or in tech and in work. So basically what happens is I'm learning skills that you're not getting taught anywhere else in Pronto Engineering, as well as when I come to college, I'm doing the likes of World Skills, which is a massive international competition. So I recently went to Herning and got a bronze medal in Industry 4.0.
Congratulations.
So, thank you very much. So, you know, it's so phenomenal to be able to have this achievement in college and then bring it to work and then be appreciated in work, and they're going to train you up to that level of, you know, wherever you may go in the future, you are fully qualified and you've outweighed anybody that's gone to university, in my opinion, personally.
And you've got the history, you've got the experience, you have the industry connections.
Exactly, yeah.
So, Margaret, who is this for? Who, ideally, someone sitting listening to this now think, oh, I'm interested in X, Y, or Z. Where can they find out the information, and what's the next step?
Okay, well, I would advise them to come to either of our big apprenticeship events this week. Who is it for? It's for school leavers, but also the Department for the Economy took the cap off age on apprenticeships. So there is no age barrier. I have a 41-year-old apprentice, electrical and electronic apprentice, who turned her life upside down and was working for the Health Trust for years and years and years, and always wanted to be an engineer, and now she's studying engineering. Yeah, so there's no age limit. It's for those wanting to do vocational routes after GCSEs, if they want to come and speak to faculty. But for the higher level apprentices, for those making applications, they're either doing their BTECs or they're doing their A-levels at the minute. That would be the majority of our applicants.
So I have a daughter who's sitting her A-levels this year, Beth. So she's interested in education, but she's also interested in music as well. So is there something that I could take her to on Thursday this week?
For that?
No, I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, you're all right.
It's just of interest to me, because I was saying there to Shane before we brought you in that there are paths that if she doesn't get this way, it opens doors. There's always a lateral movement that you can try and get into, you know?
There always is, and I suppose it's SRC's job that the door never closes. Okay, there's always something for somebody to go to.
Okay, so the Newry campus is this Thursday. At what time?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, and it runs to
5 o'clock to 7:30.
7:30, perfect.
And you can book a space on Eventbrite. Okay, I know the earlier slots are kind of really filling up at this stage of the game for Craigavon and for Newry, but it's on until 7:30 in the evening. There'll be approximately 40 prospective employers at each of those events. If anybody, it mightn't end up, because we have 40 employers at those events, but even in year one last year, we had 175 employers taking on, I think it was 273 new HLAs coming through, and we're working. We have over 600 people in the college doing their degrees through apprenticeships, all with local employers. And I can't emphasise that enough, that we have about 1,400 people on this pathway for the last 10, 12 years who have stayed local, are working for really, really good local companies, because I know the local employers are always talking about recruitment. So this is a brilliant pathway for them to recruit. And SRC has a whole kind of back office process with regard to tell us what your vacancies are, etc., etc. And if employers want to contact the college, no problem at all.
So the information will be on the SRC website?
Yeah, to the big apprenticeship event for those who want to attend.
And it's, I need to get this right, Tuesday in Craigavon.
Craigavon
starting at
Civic
5,
Centre,
and
yeah.
Eventbrite tickets or Eventbrite slots are available.
Yeah.
And Thursday, this 5 o'clock on the Canal Street, or not
Patrick
Patrick
Street,
near.
yeah.
Yes, sorry, we will get there. Just how I didn't do geography as an apprenticeship. Ross, what would you advise anyone who's listening in right now and maybe thinking about accountancy? It's something that they should do through the SRC, or?
Definitely, yeah. Like, as I said at the start, I went to university, done my 3 or 4 years in university, and came out and was sort of thinking, what now? You know, like, how, I don't know what, you know, and generally companies and businesses want to see experience whenever you're coming out of university, but like, how do you get that? You know, there's no chance of getting experience when you're doing your 5 days in university, you know, whereas with the HLA, you go, and the SRC is very helpful for all students, to be honest. Like, we've been contacted in the past to say, oh, I've got a student here that is looking at a job, can you take them in, get them an interview and all? Like, the SRC will help with that, you know. It's obviously you can't do the HLA program without having an employer. So it is very useful, like, you know, they will help you through the whole thing. And you're getting 4 days experience every single week, you know, with the job, and 1 day in the tech where you're learning the technical knowledge for accountancy. So yeah, I would definitely recommend go to the big events. We'll be there, we'll have our stand, come and say hello, like, you know, but definitely, yeah, go for it.
And Keelan, well, what's your final words on it?
Yeah, whether you're just out of university, whether you're doing your A-level or GCSEs and you're really struggling to find your path in life, I think the SRC is the best place to go, because you have that support from all the careers officers, all the staff, everybody around you. And, you know, once you finish your degree or your foundation degree, you're going to come out a far better person than you were when you went into it.
Wonderful. Margaret, information is on the SRC website.
It is
Do you
indeed.
have a Facebook page? Probably all those things.
Yeah. There's all the social media platforms, the Facebook page and the website, but the booking is on the website.
Advisable to book beforehand and show up, and with that, with the everything that in mind. Is there anything else?
I wanted to say, with regard to employers, that we have Pronto represented here and PMK. They're local employers, and what I think it was Keelan had said, you don't need to be a multinational to take on an apprentice. Okay, that you have, or was it you said, Ross?
But it's interesting you say that, because there's so many employers. My dad has business and different bits and pieces. One of the hardest things is getting people, and you advertise and that, but you never think of going through that avenue. Maybe sometimes, and it's wonderful that it opens up so many opportunities for not just employees but employers.
And I always say to an employer when I'm chatting to them that it's their opportunity to mould that person coming in, because they're not coming in with any bad habits. They're a complete blank sheet of paper. You know, that they can be a Pronto apprentice or a PMK apprentice at the end of the day, or whatever your company is. And yes, we do have multinationals who take on apprentices. All the big local employers would take on apprentices, but if you're a small to medium sized company, the opportunity is there for you as well.
You have that personal way of growing local talent that you can hold on to and retain, and it's an investment. It's an investment in the future of your company and the area too. Guys, listen, thank you so very much for coming in. The information will be on our Facebook page. The information is on the SRC page as well. Make sure you get an Eventbrite slot booked in. But if you're any way at all curious about a different career path, if you're coming up to exams, you're not too sure where they're going to take you, it's a fantastic way of sort of broadening your opportunities and your horizons.